Hey everyone, Fire here. Today we're going to be talking about whether or not blueprints are a total scam. Many of you may be unaware that the very first currency video I ever did on this channel was a video talking about the profitability of deception contracts. Now, in my defense, deception contracts back then were only 1C, and I was also really high at the time. We live in a very different world now, however. The year is 2022, I'm sober, and deception contracts are as high as I was when I first made that video. And this got me thinking, is there any way that Heist is actually still worth it when the prices have risen by so much and the rewards have dropped in value? So I looked around to see what other content creators had to say about Heist, and much to my surprise, the reaction was mostly positive. All of the other content creator videos that I could see on Heist said it was extremely profitable. And after looking at their videos, although I didn't see any evidence, I was pretty sure that that's what they believed as well. I decided in the end I was just going to go run all of my own Heist, get all of my own data, and draw my own conclusions, and now you get to draw the same conclusions that I did. See guys, I've come to realize something. I think that the reason a lot of content creators believe Heist is good is because they're only looking at the loot that they're getting and not thinking about the amount of time that goes into running the content. They're not thinking about the fact that they have to actually do contracts in order to run blueprints. You can't just count 1 hour worth of loot from blueprints without thinking about how many minutes or how many hours you spent running deception contracts in order to farm the necessary amount of reveals from Gianna to do those blueprints. You need to factor in all of the costs, such as the travel and the hiring fees for the rogues. There are a whole bunch of things that I'm pretty sure no one is considering when they're saying that Heist is a really good way to make money. And in today's video, we're not just going to look at the loot we're getting from Heist, we're also going to give a fair assessment to the costs associated with running blueprints. Let's talk about loot very quickly so we can move on to the interesting stuff. I ran 40 deception contracts and 20 gem blueprints. The reason I didn't run more is because I've run thousands of contracts and hundreds of blueprints before. I'm pretty aware that the loot that I got from this small sample size is in line with what you could expect with a larger sample size, and even if you were to change the values a little bit, it wouldn't really change the conclusions that we're drawing at the end of the day. So TLDR, we got 25C per deception contract and 200C per gem blueprint. Now, this is the interesting data, the stuff that I think a lot of other people haven't worked out. And all this data right here is probably why a lot of other content creators think Heist is really good, because they haven't worked out this stuff. So I sat down with the reveal page on blueprints and I went through trying to figure out roughly things along the lines of how many 3-wing blueprints show up compared to how many 4-wing blueprints show up, how many Gianna reveals are required on average, what the value of a Gianna reveal is. So for example, we worked out that an average blueprint is going to require 2.26 Gianna reveals, and a Gianna reveal is worth about 6.5 Chaos Orbs. Now, the cool thing about all this is that as I added to this data, I was able to draw some conclusions that were even more interesting. So for example, did you guys know, if you wanted to do 60 minutes worth of gem blueprints, you can expect to spend roughly 15 Gianna reveals, and if you're running, I think it's 1.5 minutes per deception contract, that's around 23 minutes worth of deception contracts to every hour you spend doing gem blueprints. Now this right here is really important because you can't just look at the profitability of an hour of gem blueprints as the loot that you got from that hour. You have to factor in the extra 23 minutes you spent doing deception contracts and look at the entire, say, 83 minutes and then figure out a per hour value based off of that. And now, I don't want to do a 30-minute video, so I'm just going to link this in the description below, and you should go through it in your own time. Please do. If you're at all interested in Heist or figuring out whether it's worth doing or not, just go through this stuff, because this is really important information I was not able to find anywhere else, and believe me, I looked very hard. Let's talk a bit about the conclusions I drew. So you need to do 23 minutes worth of deception contracts for every hour of gem blueprints. We discussed that. You gain 1 exalt profit from 23 minutes worth of deception contracts. If you're not sure how I got this number, you can just go back to the loot outcomes part of the video, or rather the spreadsheet, and you can sort of see how I'm getting to these numbers for yourself. You're going to get 4.43 exalts profit from 60 minutes worth of gem blueprints, and that means that you're getting 5.43 exalts profit from 83 minutes worth of heisting. The per hour value for this is 3.92 exalts profit. So this means that for every hour you invest in doing gem blueprints, like as the heist loop, where you're doing the deception contracts into the gem blueprints, for every hour you invest into that, you're getting just under 4 exalts profit per hour. Now, obviously, 4 exalts per hour is absolutely terrible, but I'm going to explain why it's actually a lot worse than this. See, Heist has the second highest setup time in the entire game. Deep Delving is admittedly worse. But when you think about Heist, you need to unlock all the rogues, you need to level the rogues up, and then you need to gear the rogues. And, you know, pretty much every other strategy in the game, you buy the stuff, you run the stuff, you get the loot. When it comes to heisting, you need to do this setup time, then you need to go buying your rogue markers, you need to buy your contracts, you need to then buy your blueprints, you need to run the contracts before you can run the blueprints because you need the Gianna reveals. And on top of all this, liquidating the alt quality gems is a bloody nightmare. These are some of the worst items in the entire game to liquidate. Some of you guys might remember my City Square strat that I put out about a week ago. Now, in that strat, I didn't include very many div cards in the Excellence tab, and that's because I just don't sell my div cards. Anything worth less than, say, 20C for a div card, I don't bother even pricing because it has to be priced manually, it has to be handled manually. It's just not really worth it. And especially when you have more important things to price and you have you can price check, say, I think 10 things every few minutes because GGG does the rate limiting. You can't really afford to be handling these low value div cards if you're someone trying to make 10 exalts per hour, and alt quality gems are just so much worse. Because not only do they suffer from all the problems div cards suffer from, they have an additional problem. Some alt quality gems, their value comes from their level. Some, it comes from quality, and for some, it comes from both. And you need to price check it and then alter the level or alter the quality based on your knowledge of the item, and there's like 600 of them. Actually, I think there's close to 700 now. So the thing is, you need to have an understanding of all these different items and where their value is derived from, and then alter the price checker that you're using. So, you know, most of you are going to be using PoE or you can trade. You need to untick certain boxes or tick certain boxes and lower the filter to, say, a level or a quality that you think is appropriate, because yeah, you might have the cheapest level 17, 18 quality or quality gem, but someone else has a level 16 one at 20 quality, and for this particular gem, quality is all that matters, so they're going to get the sale. And all the people who are also cheaper than you but have a higher quality, they're going to get sales before you. So not only have you invested time and a valuable price check, since you have a limited amount of price checks, you've invested that into pricing up a gem that's worth, say, 10C. It doesn't sell, and even if it did sell, you then have to manually handle it. This is absolutely mind-numbingly terrible. And now I'm gonna add insult to injury. Okay, so let's just pretend you are the luckiest motherfucker on the face of the earth, and you drop a divergent determination every 7 blueprints, okay? You're not going to, but let's pretend you're going to, okay? That would mean you're getting 9.43 exalts for every 83 minutes you invest into Heist. This is still under 7 exalts per hour of heisting. And in case you're wondering where some of these other content creators are making these big claims about Heist being great, let's just do a hypothetical, right? Let's pretend that running Heist is completely free. You don't have to pay for the cost of blueprints, you don't have to pay for rogue markers, you have infinite Gianna reveals, you just click on a button and the NPC opens a portal to a gem blueprint, okay? So let's pretend all of the costs associated with running these gem blueprints are completely gone, and you still drop the divergent determination every 7 blueprints. This is where you're still only making less than 12 exalts per hour, which is less than some of the juice strats you can do at the moment with running BIS Sentinels and Delirium Juice and all that sort of stuff. So the verdict is in. Don't run Heist. Heist is an absolute goddamn waste of your time. It's a waste of your money. You could just put a bloody scoured map into the map device and run it, and as long as you're popping your Sentinels every map, you're probably making more money than the people that are buying these gem blueprints for 45C. And I also want to point this out. This entire thing was done a few days before I recorded it. The price of gem blueprints back then were 45C. I'm seeing them sell for 55C at the moment, so it's getting progressively worse as time goes on. Don't heist. And next league, if you see the price of deception contracts and gem blueprints this high again, don't heist next league either. And the league after that, and the league after that. These prices need to come way down before you should ever think about heisting ever again. Unless, of course, you enjoy Heist. You know, I get it. Some of you guys really like this content, and you come home from work some days, and you just want to grind out some Heist while you wait for your wife to be finished with her boyfriend. And if this is the kind of thing that helps keep you distracted from the fact that you're going to lose your kids in the divorce, hey, don't let me stop you. Heist to your heart's content. If you like this video, give me a like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.